Yeah, what's up? I feel like I need to say something. I wanted to clear something up. So I spoke on the situation where my fake mother tried to put a protective order on me, and they declined that. They shot that down. So I was checking my records. Someone just told me to check it because I've been restoring my accounts also. I'm just trying to be productive and do everything I need to do because it's been a lot going on and just a battle trying to restore stuff, get regain access. Ever since something happened to my phone, it's been it's been a journey trying to, because some accounts take like 30 days to regain access, 2 weeks. It can vary, or they want to do something extreme. They want your ID, and respect to the businesses with the security. Much respect, because apparently you're making it hard for just anybody just to do something. I think, but it just a little unfortunate for my situation. I just have to go through a little bit just to regain, which is working, but you know, just a little process. But I checked my criminal history, and I noticed that it said domestic violence. I'm like, domestic violence, 2002. I ain't got no domestic violence. So I opened it up and I was thinking, I was like, nah, that's the protective order that my fake mother put on me a long time ago. So just to put a little something on the subject, when I dropped out of school, I started working. So I worked from like 7, 8 at night till like 1 to 3 in the morning. And before I left to go to work, she said, when you come back in the floor. Now, it didn't dawn on me that we stay in a high-rise building. So why would I vacuum the floor in a high-rise building between 1 and 3 in the morning? That don't even make any sense. So when I got back, I just fell asleep in the living room, and I was like, I'll just do it, when I wake up, like 8, almost 8 in the morning. She comes in there and kicks the table, and I wake up, and she said, "Why you didn't vacuum the floor?" I said, "Because it's late. Why would I vacuum the floor this early in the morning in a high-rise building?" And she paused. She didn't say anything, and then she just said, "Get out." So I'm looking at her. I'm like, "You serious?" She said, "Yeah, get out." So trying not to get upset, I just got up. I didn't even take anything. I just walked out the door, went over my friend's house and cooled down, tried to come back to get my stuff so I could figure out what I was gonna do. And she went and tried to let me in. Now, we wasn't beefing or anything. I just left because I didn't want to argue with her because she's one of those type. So I left, came back. She said, "Who is it?" I was like, "It's me. I'm just trying to get my stuff." She was like, "I'm not giving you anything." So I'm like, "Huh?" She was like, "Matter of fact, give me the rent and then you can get your stuff." I was like, "I'm not giving you anything. You kicked me out because I didn't vacuum the floor. And now you asking me for rent?" And that's where it all went left right there. She wouldn't let me get I didn't have anything. I only had the clothes that I had on. I wasn't even prepared because I just woke up. So I just snapped at some point and I just started kicking the door. I'm gonna be honest. I just started kicking the door. And at some point, her boyfriend was in there. He like, "Tori, stop kicking the door." That's another thing with what up. He ain't no man anyway, because, a real man would have been like, "Man, why don't you let him get his stuff? You knew my situation." He knew my situation, you know, and most of my money was going to her anyway, and which was messed up because it put me in a predicament that I couldn't do anything for myself because I was giving too much in the house. which it didn't matter too much because I feel like I was helping, but at the same time, it was putting me in a predicament that I can't expand outside of that place. So everything happened for a reason, but she called the police. I didn't know that though. So when I left, the police was coming, and somebody said that she called the police. So whatever. I was still in the neighborhood, but I went over my friend's house, and eventually the sheriffs found where I was at, and they just sent the court order. So went to the court orders for protective order, and I told the judge the situation with that, and I think they kind of seen it both ways. I just snapped because she wouldn't give me my stuff. I started kicking the door because I was pissed. I'm like, you sitting here, you taking everything from me. I dropped out of school because you stressing me out. That's another thing. And then you turn around, you taking my stuff. And not to mention, you put the protective order on me, so now I can't get to my stuff. You allow my sisters was actually sneaking stuff to me. So they snuck some stuff to me. But she didn't want me to have anything. She didn't want me to have anything. She ended up selling a lot of my stuff. I'm into like stereo stuff, so I had like a nice, like a mixing board, a double enclosure speaker, because I'm into like surround sound and all that stuff, just nice stereo stuff. So she ended up selling all that stuff of my stuff. But this was what, 2002? I was about like 18. Yeah, like 18. And then it kind of plays out again last year. The same type of scenario, but this time it didn't work when we went to court. And she tried to have the judge read off of what I said, like I was harassing her, or our text messages back and forth. And the judge was like, after he read everything out, he was like, I don't see anything threatening. I don't see what's the problem? He said, I could see how it probably come off harassing, like, not harassing. I forgot the word he used, but he was saying I could see how it comes off like, I forgot the word, but like you probably might be irritated by what I'm saying. But everything I said was what God told me to say though. And after he read it out, I said, I have text messages showing that my sister talking about that she got mental issues, me and her communicating. And she looked over because she was sitting with her. So she looked over at her and she couldn't believe that, that actually happened. So it was like so much unraveling right there at the court because they was expecting to be, victors in this situation. Not to mention, I ain't even sleep. God had me staying up because I was on a whole nother mission where somebody was trying to take my life. So I couldn't even sleep. So he didn't want me to sleep. So right after that, like 36 hours of staying up, and then I gotta go to court, and I gotta show up for myself, man. But I handled that though. But to put the icing on the cake, man, mosquitoes. To put the icing on the cake, I said, ask her if we was to get a DNA test, would she come back as my mother? And she didn't even say anything. She just put her head down. And that blew my mind right there. Now, this happened in front of the judge, everybody. So, this is on record. So, I'm telling him to ask her, and she looked at him and put her head down. And I couldn't believe it. I believe this God told me. God had me addressing people directly. It wasn't to piss anybody off. It's just to show you that, I know what's going on and how real God is. So they ain't like the verdict. He dismissed it. And you know what he told me after that? When he was handing me the papers, congratulations. Because he knew. He said before he declined it, he said it's something more to this situation, and he didn't want to go too deep into it, but he knew something wasn't right. He knew it. You say, yeah, it sounds like y'all got a lot more going on in this situation right here. But, he ended up declining it because I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, I might have locked you out your house, which was technically, coming back as my house. But I locked you out because you left to go do spell work. So, I mean, if I know what you're going to do, and besides, God told me to do that anyway. Shit, I was, to be honest, I'm going to be completely honest. I was like, man, I'm not doing that. But I had to do it. When I decided to actually communicate with God, then, I had to do the right thing. Sometimes not knowing, could make you feel like you're not doing the right thing. But it ain't about you knowing. It's about just following the proper procedure and order of stuff. You dealing with stuff that you don't even see or know, then, you know, that's when faith, hope come in. I didn't know all this stuff was going on. One thing led to another. Yeah, one thing led to another. I mean, if I ask you, can I see the um the deed to the house, and you about to go show me, and then you said no, well you can look it up online. I said no, I mean the actual deed, because I was told to ask you that, and that's when you hesitated, and then you said no, it's online, you can look it up online. I was like no, I want to see the actual deed, because God already told me. But that's where all that came from, and it led to a protective order. She ended up leaving, trying to set up some other stuff. But it's just funny that from 2002, that situation showed back up on my record, and it never was on my record. All this time, it was never on my record, and I just so happened to check recently, and I saw it. I'm like, I saw something was missing, and then I saw something that was added. So I'm like, what is this? With everything that I experienced at this point, I'm questioning everything, because even with the accounts, me and being locked out of my accounts, certain accounts and stuff, it's, man, I tell you, there's a whole lot of trickery going on out here, and I can't even go too deep into it because I'm still, I don't want to say too much on that. But what I will say is that when you experiencing certain stuff, man, don't give up. Continue to do what you felt you needed to do, even in the worst times. That's when you supposed to show up for yourself, for real, to be honest. And you know, it's been to the point I've been on this journey pretty much by myself the whole time. Not necessarily by myself, but physically, yeah. But I had encounters where I had people around me for a while. They don't be around forever, but they be around enough, for me to, we make some type of exchange of words or whatever, some type of knowledge or something, and then I gotta move forward. But usually when I show up, it's because it's usually something that need to change in every situation that I ever encounter. I was around certain areas because something needed to change. Simple as that. Didn't matter who saw what, nothing. A lot of this stuff, I don't need to do anything. Me just being there is enough. That's it. It's going to change the environment. That's why they was forcing me out of certain areas. They didn't want me to be in certain areas. In one area in Virginia, because of so much that was kicking up, me just being there, the mayor got involved and asked me for me to uh, asked for me to leave. Sent the officer to say something to me. That's what he said personally. So I'm like, wow. When the mayor gets involved, like, what the fuck is this? That's how I felt. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm minding my business, but at the same time doing God's work. But you know, you know, a lot of people paying attention. Then when the mayor's watching you and you don't know about it, but whatever. Nah, I just feel like I need to address that situation. You know, I even down to my phone. You know, I got another phone. The accounts were attached to the old phone number and the old phone, and that's why it took me so long to try to reestablish my accounts because the attachment or the phone number. And actually trying to get another phone, got another phone, whatever. But then dealing with a little issue with, which is kind of weird. I can text and receive text, but I can't make calls and I can't receive calls, which is weird. So I'm about to look into that too, cause I already know it's my phone been hacked so many times, and this been going on for years to get around me, and I didn't never understand what was going on at first. It's a lot deeper than that. They want to gain connection to make it seem, to make my location appear somewhere else, but also it's like a numerous amount of different shit going on, man. Trying to make me seem like I'm somewhere else, or I'm they're calling from my phone, or little weird stuff like that. I didn't already experience that. Right now, I don't know that's what's going on. I didn't even dig into that yet, but that's a must to know right now. I just feel like I had to say something about that though. But just regaining my accounts, all different types of accounts, apps, or whatever. But one of my email accounts, where it's an app that I'm using, and it allows you to see if there's any breaches connected to the email. So I did two emails that I used, and nothing came up. But the one that was connected when all this BS started, it was like a bunch of breaches came up to that. And I'm quite sure if it's some showing, then it's a bunch that's not showing. I already know that for sure. But yeah, my phone, all my devices been hacked, back to back to back to back to back to back. I think they're having a little bit more trouble with the phone that I have now, trying to access that though. That's what I can say. They'll try to sit around and do weird stuff like they'll make it seem like a family event and get close to me, park the vehicle, having exchanging stuff, like taking a long time around, and not even knowing I'm aware of this. I can understand their lingo, their communication. I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm hearing it. Oh, I did want to mention this. So the location where I'm at now, when I first showed up, I was having trouble washing my clothes because, I'm just getting here. I need to get the flow of like what's going on, what's wet, and where to go, what I need to do. Cause ain't no shame in my game. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about what somebody got to say about what I got going on because I know, this struggle of what I have to deal with to get through because of all the stuff that's attached to it. It's attached to me. That's supposed to be my shit. It's gonna come with a lot. So I don't really care about what somebody got to say. But I heard somebody through my clear. They was like, I forgot what they said. Something about like, I see why he trying to hide his stuff in the woods. They went through my dirty clothes because I stashed my stuff when I got to the location because I didn't know where to put my stuff because I didn't want to keep walking in the stores and stuff like that. So I stashed my stuff. Somebody stashed a little lumberjack, little long sleeve, a green looking one, checker. They stashed it in my stuff. I don't own that. I don't know where that stuff came from, but the fact that I heard them, I heard what they said, but I didn't know why they said it because they snuck and they put that shit in there, and because I didn't get all the information when I heard it, it didn't happen until like when I had to wash my stuff and I saw it in there, then it all dawned on me. That's what that meant, what the person said. So they stashed some type of shirt in my stuff. I don't know what that's connected to. And as anybody can see, me hauling all of my shit, I don't got time to be out here playing around and trying to hurt somebody and do all this little weird setup stuff that they be trying to, engage me in. I don't got time for that. And the right people know that. So I'm not concerned about that BS, man. But what I did, not really thinking, I grabbed the shirt because I'm like, hold on, this is not mine. Like, now I'm trying to think about like where did it come from and how long was it in there. So I grabbed it, took it and threw it in the trash can. And it didn't dawn on me till later, like a couple days. Like, damn, I should have took a picture of that and like archived it because somebody was trying to set me up. They snuck into my stuff, stashed a shirt in my stuff. Yeah, yeah, I'm very aware though. I'm gonna just say that, and I'm tired of playing around. Certain things I'm gonna speak on, some I'm not. I'm gonna just hold on it until the right time. But I felt like I needed to say that though because I grabbed that shirt and I threw it away, not thinking that it could have been attached to something else, which the right people know what's going on anyway. Because I don't have time to go do no stupid stuff. I don't have no access to no vehicle. And that's why God had me moving like I was moving, while people had jokes. If you got so many people doing stuff and trying to stage everything around you everywhere you go, then you have to be on motion. You're going to have to keep moving around. You're not going to be able to live such a structured life when stuff has to come to a head where actually you can build a structured life. Until then, you can't really build too much because these people is waiting for me to make a mistake so they can take from me. They counting on setting me up to go to prison and trying to kill me so many times, man. I done witnessed so many hitmen. I seen one guy, I looked him in his eyes when I was camping one time. It was just me and him there. And I'm working out, doing my laps. And I'm coming up on him and I spoke to him. And all he says, I just remember the look in his eyes, man. I saw just a cold person, man. I felt it too. That man did some things. That ain't my issue though. He didn't do anything. But one thing I will say, he looked at me, and whatever he was sent to do, however, he changed his mind. Yeah, he changed his mind on that. He ain't want nothing to do with that shit. And I encountered that a bunch of times. But this be the stuff that, I never spoke on it too much because I'm not looking for no, any validation or nothing weird. I know what's going on. But I will say this. It's somebody that spoke on, they said, they did a reading about this. They said, they keep coming around somebody and the divine is speaking through the weather. Like the weather get real crazy. And they was talking about me. And this happened like about 3 times back to back. And lightning just kept striking back to back. Boom, boom. All around where I'm at. Nowhere else. It was just happening all around where I was at. And I knew what time it was. I already knew somebody that ain't supposed to have been around me. That's what they was talking about. They was talking about my situation. I just felt like I had to say that though, cause the type of stuff I be seeing, man, I don't know. It be mind blowing though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes it don't feel like it's real, but I know it's real, but it just don't feel like it because it's just not happening a certain way. I guess because a lot of people don't know that it's happening, and they don't need to know for real. I guess that's why it is. The ones that need to know, they know. Now I will say this, man. Don't never give up, even when it get hard. Don't never give up, for real. This journey, man, I tell you, I'm at loss for words, for real, and not really just in a bad way, because it's like a balance of like everything. It's like a scale balance from between the stuff that I would consider like man, I don't want to deal with this, even to all the good stuff, surprise and gifts, everything. So it's like a balance to it. When you don't want to deal with something, yeah, you're not gonna like the way it feels. So that's just what that is. But growing through everything, changing my mindset as far as how I see, it helped me elevate majorly though. I'm gonna be honest. Like I know I got a lot of stuff coming. I'm not, I'm not counting on that too much. Like, yeah, you get to the point like, yeah, dang, like when is it gonna happen? But at the same time, I'm just like, how should I say it? I'm grounding myself through everything that I encounter, all my situations, just everything in whole. I don't want to just look at just the good things. I'm talking about everything in whole. Even the stuff that's so-called negative, I learned a lot from that too. And I love the dark side of me. I'm gonna be honest to you. When you say dark, a lot of people get it twisted. Dark is the stuff that people don't want to deal with when they come to themselves. I could sit in the dark. I could sit in the dark of myself, and come back out clean with it. That's how true I am to myself. I'm not gonna lie to myself. I mean, I got to the point where I could actually see everything for what it is, not attach a feeling to it, but actually, just observe. That's what I'm trying to say. Just observe and break everything down without the feeling. Because when you attach the feeling to it, that's when it actually becomes the problem with us. Now we get so attached to the feeling that it takes us left when it's a lot deeper than just the feeling. Feelings, we go through so many different feelings. That's just a moment. But when we attach ourselves to the feeling, it allows it to stay. You want to grow through the feeling. You don't want to get stuck. I just feel like I needed to say something. It's been a while. Show my face a little bit. It's late. It's probably, what time is it? Almost 2:30. 2:30 a.m. Feeling like I just need to say something, show my face, let them know I'm alright. You know, I ain't saying everything's sweet over here. But one thing, I ain't gotta sugarcoat my situation. I ain't trying to impress anybody. And thing about it, even when, see, God's funny though. Even when things get better, I'm the type of person when it gets better, man, I'm out the way. I'm out the way. I ain't trying to put on for nobody and none of that weird stuff, man. But God is funny, man. God like, nah, you ain't hiding. God like, nah, you ain't hiding. This is what you about to do. Like seriously. So I've been having to readjust. I'm gonna be honest, man. I had to readjust a lot because it ain't really necessarily a comfort zone, but it's like, man, why did I gotta do that, man? Regardless, even I got a good heart regardless. But when God want to showcase you a certain way, then that's what He gonna do. That's what He wants you to do. So I ain't running from anything. Whatever He asks me, whatever He bring my way. That's what I've been doing. I've been going through this, growing through it. Not going. I've been growing through this and showing up for myself. Even when times got hard and the answers then got a little funny, and man, this journey is real, man. I ain't gonna lie. Just to the level of like deception, it's like insane. For real, man. I mean, it is what it is, but man, I be sitting back and I be thinking sometimes this stuff will feel like it ain't never gonna end, even though I know it, but it's just the feeling. That's why you don't get attached to the feeling. You know what I'm saying? Allow yourself to feel, but make it real. What is real in the situation? You don't want to get stuck somewhere dealing with something in your mind that's not real, or you trying to make it real because the way it feels. Mosquitoes tore my ankle up, man. But yeah, everything cool. I ain't out here begging, doing all this little weird stuff that people be trying to make it seem like. I ain't gonna lie. Like even in my situation right now, I actually I basically work for mine. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I don't have a job. God don't want me having no contract with certain stuff. So I can't just do certain stuff. No contract days, certain stuff is done. Cause I ain't break all them down generational curses and everything for nothing to go back into the same stuff. So I can't live a certain way now. So I've been making it work right now to some other stuff in the background work out. And, you know, actually giving back too. Getting to know other people and, not really getting to know like basically getting to know the community. Everywhere I go, eventually that's what I do. I actually get to know certain individuals. You really get to see what's really going on in somebody's life. It's easy to look at somebody and assume a lot until you hear them talking, then you be like, dang, you know. The whole time I never put my own situation out there. Like, yeah, oh, for real, but listen to this. I'm going through, man, I just went. There's no need to. I do a little smile in my head because the look on my face, they would never think that I was going through all the stuff that I went through. They would never think that unless they knew about it. People can't even imagine that my age is really 44. They be like, nah. I'm like, yeah, 44, man. If you look real close, you'll see the gray. You'll see the grays. The grays is there. Yeah, they there. They hidden. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I clip them. I don't want to see that right now. I'm enjoying my. I'm just being honest, man. Yeah, I clip them. Pink, pink, pink. Clip them down. But I'm just being honest. I'm not afraid to get older. Same way people dye their hair and do all this other stuff. That's what you choose to do it, man. As long as you ain't hurting anybody and you comfortable with what you doing, then be that. Do that. That's what's important. You get too caught up in what other people doing and saying, and then you're not living for you anymore. You just living for what somebody else might say or do. So just make sure that you align with yourself on any decision that you make. align with the universe so you can continue to grow, mentally grow, physically grow. Um, hmm. Yeah, I just been trying to like get stuff in order, man. There's so much stuff that took place. I remember my business was getting sabotaged because I got a freight dispatching business that I didn't even really get a chance to get into it that much because it was like they was coming around me, hacking my device, doing all this weird stuff. And one of the signs that I knew that this was happening because I was getting callbacks of people saying, "Stop calling my phone." I'm like, "Stop calling your phone. Like, what is this?" That's when I knew something else was going on. And I ain't gonna lie, I started giving up on that because it was just too much going on at the time. Too much. Um, Even the business before that, because I was about to start another business, and I ain't gonna say no names, but the person knew I was good at that, so they took initiative and I don't try to start everything up for me on the paperwork online. So they couldn't finish it though. Mosquito. They couldn't finish it. So while they was getting ready to go to sleep, I asked for the information and I looked it up online and I'm looking at it. I'm like, damn, it said my name right here. You know, it was a detailing business. But I'm looking at the information. You done signed off on everything. So if you could have followed through and made this work, you would have did that and you would have tried to make it seem like it was yours. The only reason why they couldn't finish off the paperwork with it is because they couldn't get the EIN number. You got to register for that, and they didn't do that part. So when I realized that, and I had a conversation with them, and it was like, "No, that's not it. I didn't do it because of that." And I'm not stupid. So what I did, I opt out on that whole situation. I'm not opening that business no more. And then I started something else. That's when I did the freight dispatching. So I did everything behind their back, set up everything, and then the information gets shipped to the house, and you open my mail. This was like right before we was done, before we separated, way back, 2022, and realized you open the mail. Why are you opening my mail? I thought it was something else. Still, it's something else. Why you opening somebody else's mail then? It didn't make sense because she already knew that I was already trying to do something else. But that was another way to actually get into my business because that's when that shit started again. I mean, that started again, but that's when it started up. I think she was just trying to find a way to connect herself to it. And there's some other things that prove it. Like, why you at. One thing I can say, man, one time I found like a picture of my ID in her phone, and I'm like, why is my ID, picture of my ID in your phone? Take it out. I don't know, erase it. I don't want it in. It's okay. I'm like, no, it ain't okay. That's my stuff. And if somebody hack your stuff, then you know, now they got my stuff. And why do you need my ID in your phone? God was showing me all this stuff, like through all these situations, man. Like he was hipping me to what really was going on. Damn, mosquito, man. Yeah, he was hipping me. I did this app where it allows you to look into emails to see for like any breaches and two of mine was like it came back clear, but that doesn't mean that something secretly you know isn't attached to it. That don't mean that, but the stuff that it picks up wasn't there. Uh, That it could pick up wasn't there, and the one that was hacked for sure. I know that when I was going through all this stuff for years, that one came back like I forgot. I think it was like 6 or 9 breaches, and those just the ones that were just up front. So I'm like, man, but I already know that email was hacked because I couldn't even control it like I needed to. But when stuff started coming to a head, all of a sudden, features on the email started reappearing where I could actually control certain stuff. That's how I know it was hacked. It was like I was opted out as an administrator of my own email or something. Yeah, a lot of different accounts I was having issues with, all types of stuff. And I ain't gonna say too much about that, but I already know my name was probably being used incorrectly. Just like I know I spoke on this situation way back, how my name was attached to somebody's car, and for some reason they decide they don't want to pay the insurance or anything, so it was like a lapse, and it fell on me, and I ended up having to pay it. And at the time, shit, I was struggling because that's when all this stuff was still going on. It was heavy, so my friend that I was around actually assist me on that to pay it. That was like $1,800, but it wasn't just like you know she did it and that was just it. No, because I made sure that she got to work to and fro, and you know just doing what was right. So, but I did appreciate that. But then they turned around and did it again. But it wasn't like the perfect time for trying to do all this court stuff because I see what's going on. This was a lot deeper. When people got connections in other places, then sometimes you gotta let stuff play out. You don't want to start doing stuff, and then that's now you getting pulled in every direction in places that you don't need to be. So I just say, you know what, I'm gonna let God take this right here because I don't want to. I want to go in and just start like trying to battle it, but if I can't see everything else that's taking place behind all of this, then I could be burning myself like that. So, you know, I know eventually all this stuff will get cleared up. Everything get taken care of. And one thing I can say, a lot of stuff done changed. A lot of stuff done changed. And yeah, I'm still like in my little situation or whatnot. I'm not tripping off of that. You know, this is just it's a stepping stone. One thing I can say, after all I've been through, I can actually see when you've been to the bottom of something, like the worst that you can go through, you're gonna see the difference when the change is coming. You're gonna see it because you used to the worst of it, so you're gonna see that. So I see all the changes or whatnot. I don't get stuck in my head about this, that, this, that. No, I definitely can see the change in the people around and everything. A lot of people making decisions not to get involved in stuff. A lot of stuff is changing, and don't get too caught up in the news too. It's gonna be a lot of chaos for real because the the earth is changing, the energy is changing. So things gotta get a little chaotic before it gets better, and you gotta remember that. So when you start seeing a whole lot of activities and false flags and all types of stuff happening, then you gotta like not saying don't pay attention, but don't feed it too much energy. Don't pay too much attention with it, because that's what you're doing, giving away your energy. Be supportive of the ones that lost their life, that didn't deserve certain stuff, but at the same time, don't give all that stuff too much energy, because it's a lot of great things, good things going on out here, and distractions is going to be at the highest point right now because of all the good things that's happening behind the scenes, and the energy wants you to, the energy sent out want people to self-sabotage and start messing their own lives up. Want you to feel like you need to panic and do a whole bunch of craziness, but really, nah. Pay attention. Just focus on your own mind, your own mindset. You can't really do too much outside of you until you do something with yourself in the first place. Your mind ain't right, then how can you help somebody else? So, nah, I think I said more than enough now. 46 minutes. Um, yeah, I mean, something that I did want to say. Let me think for a second. I can't even remember. I think I'm gonna start posting a little bit more though now, and also I just might do it live. I don't know. I just want to kick off with. I ain't expecting anybody to show up for real. That ain't the case. I just want to kick it off. I might do something spontaneous and just do it live one day. So expect that. Um, Thanks to all the ones that actually support energetically. You know, stay solid. I know who you is. Trust me. And man, let me keep it real, man. Let me keep it real. So I have another account, right? But this is the thing. The reason why I'm not using my my account, this account on YouTube, on my other device, is because the hacking of the email. I don't know what's still going on with it, and I'm not allowing it to attach to my new device neither. So I don't want to bring that email. Open it up onto that device. So the device that I use that's attached to the this channel is Wi-Fi only. So if I don't get on no Wi-Fi, then you're not gonna see too much on this. But I do have another account, and no, I don't go around being weird and harassing anybody or doing no weird stuff. But I do check on people. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say it just like that. Yeah, I do. I check on people because there's some solid people out there that you know I know who they are energetically, and you know I'm just doing my job because people still need support. When you speak real, then you get a lot of stuff coming at you, and that's my job. I'm supposed to show up in situations like that. When you putting yourself on the line, then I show up and I support. I'm not afraid to put myself on the line. I already proved that. They know that. I don't know how many times I done did that. I done, I don't even want to go to that. For real. Some of the biggest names of people that people fear, they done came after me. That's 100%. They came after me. They showed up. Now, the way they look is not what you already would expect. I'm going to say that. It probably wouldn't be what you would expect. But the people that most fear, yeah, I done seen them face to face. They done came real close. They even came near me, or they came close enough in the vehicle. I done, trust me, man. All that fear shit, I'm not fearing anything. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I said that at one point. What I feared the most was I was myself when I was younger because I knew my anger, and they knew that. They tried to play me. They tried to play on that at one point, but they couldn't because I already worked on that. I already worked on it. So you can't take what I say and use it against me because you working from a negative aspect. You're not working from a positive aspect. I'm on the positive side. So what I speak, I already worked through. So I'm not giving you no, strategy to attack me. Let's not get that twisted. I'm just being honest, man. I'm not giving you no strategy. I'm just, I'm just telling you what it is. No, I'm not afraid. I done went through a whole lot of inconvenience. I ain't gonna lie to you. That didn't scare me for some reason. Like I done heard whoever was in my energy, they said it. I heard them. I heard them through my clear. They was like, yeah, he's not scared of anything anymore. They said it, and nah, I'm not scared. I mean, it's naturally to be concerned or feeling the energy or worry or whatever, or adrenaline pumping can register as like worry when your adrenaline is pumping because you're anxious. But no, I'm not afraid. The stuff that I done seen where I had to encounter where it strips you from everything. It basically strips you. But I didn't let it strip me as like the the valuable sides of me. I let it strip everything that shouldn't be attached to me. So everything that I felt in my heart didn't mean me no good, it had to go. And that's what I let it strip. So I kept the parts that was valuable, my heart and everything. I'm not gonna change that. That's a superpower right there. For you to be real with yourself and actually love and be okay with it, not be stupid with it. That's a superpower, man. And I'm grateful at this point because it doesn't matter what I show up as in somebody's eyes. If you listen to what I'm saying, then you will actually, you know, you get what I'm saying. There's something different about it. I feel it. But to actually truly understand where I'm coming from, you got to get there. I ain't have all them people coming at me just because. It's because they want me to find out who I am, but also what I was attached to. They didn't want me to know that. Here I am. I ain't known any of this stuff for real. I'm thinking a lot of this stuff was like the other people, and I'm cheering people on behind the scenes for real. Then find out that yeah, it is a lot of people that's coming into stuff, but that for my situation, I'm like God. It brought a whole lot more responsibility for real. Not saying that in a complaining type of way, but it's just like God. Like I gotta be honest, man. Like yes, I like nice stuff, but I don't value money like that. Like a lot of people do. Yeah, I like nice stuff, man, but I'm not willing to do anything to get it. I'm just not built like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I see self value and worth way more important because no one can strip that from you once you got it. The only way someone can strip that from you if you let them. Meanwhile, all the stuff that you value outside of you can be taken. It can be destroyed. So be careful what you value because a lot of stuff don't even last long. Meanwhile, your self morals and values can last long. Can no one take that away from you? Can no one can destroy that once you actually meet that peak inside of you? Continue to be that person where you show up for yourself and others. Be that example. I'm not gonna lie. The way that I post certain stuff, nah, that's me. That's me. You go anywhere that I've been, that I encounter people, they gonna tell you about me. They gonna tell you. I'm truly genuine. I care about people. I'm not stupid. I pay attention to everything. I don't think you're gonna come around and play in my face like that. But, cause I tell you what, if I pick up on some energy and I feel uncomfortable, that's exactly what it is. It's not something right. It ain't right. So I'm gonna pick up on that. But um, find your true inner self. That's very important. Very important to find a balance inside of you and not really focus on what somebody else got going on or their version. I mean, you can be inspired from stuff, but actually learn how to, even if you pick up certain things from someone, don't use their version. Find what's inside of you, where the way it fits inside of you. So you're not trying to be somebody else. You're actually being yourself, but you're finding the values that match from somebody else inside of you. Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much though. 56. Let me see. Was there anything else I needed to say? Uh, yeah, it's a lot changing, man. And I just been making peace with everything, for real. Even in this situation that I'm in, you know, I recognize like when people actually like making better decisions with themselves. Like I'm witnessing this like all over. They say you can't change anything outside of you unless you change yourself, and that's very true. Sometimes that's all it takes, because it puts out the right energy in the universe, in the environment. So you just being the rightful person that you need to be in your life. That's pretty much that's all you need to do. You don't have to do a whole lot. Stay solid. Definitely stay solid. And none of this little make believe stuff that people be trying to portray their versions of solid or whatever. Cause solid to me, that's all. That's on every angle. You're not resisting who you should be and how you should be when it comes to people. You're not resisting it, and that could be on a negative or a positive. It doesn't really matter. It could be negative or positive. You're not showing any resistance. You're allowing yourself to see everything for what it is, so you could be real with yourself first. That's real. I'm not talking about when somebody want to make these little weird little sayings and laws or whatever, and it don't even amount to shit for real. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna always be betrayals, and all types of stuff. Because when you get better at recognizing yourself, then you can recognize those qualities in others, and that'll actually eliminate a lot of things from happening in your life. It's just that simple for real. It don't seem like it, but truly it is. The better you get with yourself, the better you can see other people. You see the things you need to avoid, because you're going to recognize you and the things that you don't need to be associated with in others. and the qualities that you should be associated with in them. You're gonna see it. Yeah, but it's late. It's like what? It's almost 3 o'clock. Yeah, so I'm gonna post another one soon. Till then, y'all be easy out there.